Assalamualaikum and very good morning, guys. How are you today? In this morning, I would like to explain about our topic in the 6 weeks. Yeah, exactly on the condenser. So I will explain more detail in the condenser and its types. Okay, guys. Okay, what the meaning definition? The condenser itself is a device or unit used to condense a substance from the gases to its liquid state by cooling it. In so doing, the latent heat is given up by the substance and will transfer to the condenser coolant. So actually, these properties already learned in the thermodynamic. So actually we already know what the latent heat and what else, how to the substance change from the another phase to another type of phase. As we know, a substance have more than one of phases, like the water have three types of the phases. The first one is the solid, and then change into the liquid, and then to the vapor. So the condenser itself, we will talking about the last stage, last phase, the third phase. Which one then? Yes, the evaporator stage. So how from the liquid change to the vaporized, and then we change again from the vaporized to the liquid. So the condenser will have the big paramount or important part in this condition. So we go back to the slide. The second bullet is used in system involving heat transfer. And then the condenser, the last bullet, condenser are typically heat exchanger which have various design and come in many size ranging from the rather small to very large industrial scale unit used in the plant processes. We go to next slide. So, refrigerant condenser. Refrigerator uses a condenser to get rid of heat extracted from the interior of the unit to the outside air. Condensers are used in the air conditioning, industrial chemical processes such as distillation, steam power plants, and other heat exchange systems. So, last bullet, use of cooling water or also running air as the coolant is common in many condensers, right? So actually in the refrigerant system, condenser is very important part to get to build the temperature to be what we will control, what will to aims. This one very important part. So the function of condenser itself in the world heating, ventilation, and air conditioning has vague. Condenser happen to be a topic of great importance. Instead of confusing information, the goal is to provide some basic information on the different types of condenser and their application. So that's why in this part we will study the first one, the function, and then also how the process work, A to Z, and then we learn about the type, how the condenser work, and types of the coolant itself. Different coolant, different types of refrigeration. Okay, we go to type of condenser. What we have here, we have three types of condenser. The first one by water cooled, and the second one by air cooled, and the last one is by evaporative. Okay, we go one by one to study indeed the type of a condenser. The first one we go is air cooled condenser. How the air will work to condenser? The condenser use air as cooling medium to condense refrigerant. It's called as air cooled condenser. So coolant we will cool again. It's very funny to hear, because a coolant is a cooler, but the coolant itself need to cool by the another fluid. So this type by air. So the coolant will cool by air. If condenser is located on the outside of the unit, the air-cooled condenser can provide the easy arrangement. These types of condenser eject heat to the outdoor and are simple to install. So it's a similar work like the radiator work process. We try to cool the water inside of the radiator by using pushing the air, by using the fan to push the air through the fin, and then the fin will be cooling by the air. The same time. So most common use for this condenser are domestic refrigerator, upright freezer. A great feature of the air-cooled condenser is they are very easy to clean. So that can cause the serious issues with the condenser performance. Is highly recommended that this be kept clear of that. As we know, the fin itself have the small space within the fin, and then the dirt from the air we will attach into the fin, so we will keep this still clean, because we will effect on the process of heat transfer. Air-cooled condenser require large surface area because of low specific heat of air. So that's why we will design by very big, not so big, I think, but it's more than the normal size of the type of the condenser system. So we need more space to put on the condenser system by using the air-cooled condenser. So we need more space, and outside we go last the bullet. A cooled condenser is made of steel, copper or aluminum. Actually this more on the heat transfer of the material can be supply the heat to the body itself. So as we know, the aluminum is a better one. How to transfer the by using conduction system of heat transfer. So aluminum the best one, because aluminum have the high conductivity in heat thermal conductivity. Okay, we go to type of a cooled condenser. There are majorly two types of air-cooled condenser: by natural convection condenser. The second one is forced convection condenser. So we go one by one. What is the natural and what is a forced convection? The first one, how natural convection work. The first one, you can see here from the figure. the high pressure, high temperature vapor enters to the top of the condenser from the compressor. So come here, so be here, inside the tube, and then the black line shown as a fin. So in the second stage of the vapor process, the second stage, as the outside air travel through the tubes and fins, condensation occurs and the vapor is converted to liquid. So in the middle of the process already changed from the vapor into the liquid by cooling the system, the fin. And then what happened when the vapor change to the liquid, and then the high pressure refrigerant exits the condenser from the bottom by low temperature. This one of part of natural convection. And how about the forced convection? We use propeller or fan to push the air through the fin. So now we have the velocity, high velocity to push the fin. Maybe we supply the air more higher than the natural convection system. Actually this one is more effective, but maybe we'll supply more energy to the motor fan. So we compare both of the type of the system. We have some of difference between them. Okay, we go natural convection, need large surface area because, as we know, I always mentioned before, we need large space to design or construct the natural convection system. And then consume large space, simple in construction, and low cost. And this one is very good because low cost. And then how about the forced convection? Need fan or blower to decrease surface area. Yes, we need the supply more contact area within the air and the fin. So that's why we should be supply the air. So how to supply? By the blower or the fan. Consume less space, correct? And complex in the construction. Yeah, very difficult to design it. And then higher cost comparatively, of course, because we put the motor inside of the system. So advantage of air cooler condenser. So advantage of the coolant condenser is given below. The first is use it location where water is difficult to use it. Very simple construction, low initial cost and maintenance cost, less piping work to do, less change of fueling, very easy to clean. Yes, because big space, so easy to clean. Yeah, right. So how about the advantage of cooling condenser is given still under the nature of flow. Still we have here much of the images. The first one, low heat transfer rate, noisy operation while application, and large surface area is required. In hot weather condition is less effective, of course, because we use environment air to cooling the coolant. So what happen if the summer we supply the hot air to the coolant? So what happen? Maybe not effective, of course. And then It's less efficient than water condenser, of course. Air is more effective. Water, of course, more effective. Then the last is air coolant condenser cannot be used along with refrigerant having higher compression index. Disadvantage of air coolant condenser: low heat transfer rate, noisy operation. How about the water coolant condenser? Water coolant condenser use water as cooling medium. It may be recirculated or fresh water depend upon availability. So we use water for coolant the refrigerant. Although a little more pricey to install. Yes, these condensers are the more efficient type. This condenser require regular service and maintenance. Yes, so we have the regular schedule. They also require a cooling tower to conserve water, to prevent corrosion and the forming of algae. Water coolant condenser require constant supply of makeup water along with the water treatment. As we know, when you utilize the water, of course, will invite the algae. So water with algae cannot be sprayed, right? So we need to regular service to clean the algae. We go to second bullet. The selection of water coolant condenser depend upon cooling load in evaporation condenser, temperature, availability of water, and water inlet outlet temperature. It should be designed properly to supply water input and water output. This is more under what we call control volume. How to control volume, and then we can control the temperature. Okay, Tuli, the type of condenser by water cooler, we have three types here. The first type is shell and tube type condenser, and shell and coil type condenser, and the last one, tube and tube type condenser. We will go one by one, and then we will try to explore what the type is it. Okay, now we go to the first type of the condenser by the cooling by water cooling. The first one, shell and tube type. Compressor discharge gas flow through the tube in the condenser. Okay, we can check from the figure here. So maybe the green color mentioned about the refrigeration flow using the tube. And then here maybe the supply from the inlet here of the refrigerant, and then we will outside go through the this outside. So maybe the high temperature from here, and then coolant will be go through the shell side fluid system here. So the coolant using the water we supply from here, and then we'll go to outside from this side. Okay, so the water will go through the every tube here. So what happened? So the tube will cooling by the coolant temperature here. So the water pipe into the shell acts as a rectifier. The end of the shell are removed for cleaning. Most expensive type of the condenser, yes, because of the complicated design. Another type, shell and coil type condenser. Actually same like the first one, the first type, But this type is constructed by spiral of construction. So the refrigerator will go through the inside of the tube, and then water we supply in the shell go through the tubes. So the coil of tube enclosed in welded shell refrigerant flow through the coil. Water is discharged into the shell when refrigerant come in the contact with the cold water is condensed and discharged through the valve. Okay, this one the last type of the designing in the water condenser system, tube and tube type condenser. So the same, tube and tube. So in this type, the pattern of the shell will follow the pattern of tube itself. So when the tube design is look like the spiral, for example, we can see the figure with the red one, tube design, and then another one, the blue one, is the shell design. So the water we will go through in the blue line, while the refrigerant will go in the red one. So the same pattern. So heat exchange take place between the fluid in the inner and outer tubes. Refrigerant flow in the outer tube, water flow in the inner tube, refrigerant and water flow in opposite direction to maximize the heat transfer. This one, the last type of we study condenser. The last type is by evaporative. So while this remains the least popular choice, of evaporative condenser can be used inside or outside of building. Very good. And under typical condition, operate at a low condensing temperature. These are used in the large commercial air conditioning units. Although effective, they are not necessarily the most effective. Okay. So we try to understand the process of evaporative. Okay, from the figure, so the evaporation will go through from the upper side and then go by drain, like the what we call like the rain. So then we use the fan to push refrigeration water, the refrigerant. So the refrigerant is flowed through the pipe. Through spray of water, the refrigerant is condensed. So a latent heat transfer takes place through the pipe. So from this, we can cool the refrigerant inside the tube, and then the water supply from the upper inside to the down what we call the bottom of the and we go to the advantage of the evaporative condenser. The advantages of a evaporative condenser are as follow. Evaporation is a part of heat transfer process. Heat absorption capacity of water is higher than air. It needs less coil surface. No need of cooling tower. Disadvantages of evaporative condenser are as follow. Need a separate system for water spray. Needs regular maintenance. This type of condenser can be used only for medium-sized refrigeration plant. Okay, thank you. That's all. Next class we will study about the expansion valve, right? In the 7 week of topic. Thank you. That's all.